Right.
Test.
Hey, Jay.
Hey.
John.
Everybody else has mics on.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Village of Skokie Appearance Commission meeting for Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Happy New Year. Our first case of the 2025. When you checked in to get your building permits, you were told what we're going to be doing here tonight. Tonight we have one one mixed-use case and one residential case. Residential cases were given, notice was given to neighbors and so forth. If there are any such neighbors who want to come up when we call a case, you're more than welcome to, and we'll hear your comments. When we get our cases, and from what we're leading, I'm reading from, is we get comments from the village's community development department, and we take those comments into consideration when we're rendering our decisions. The commissioner to my left, when I call a case, will read those comments into the record. When I call your case, you'll come up to the podium here. Brian will put the stuff up on the screen. We'll have a small discussion, and then we'll have some interaction, and then we'll do a vote. If there's only two cases, so it's a little awkward. If anybody's going to speak tonight or come up when I call, please stand up now and be sworn in. You may as well. It's painless.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
Before we go into your cases, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of December 11th, 2024, as written.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So passed. Okay. Here we go. We should be out of here in short order based on the comments that I've read. Case number 2024-057A at 9303 Lincolnwood Drive. It's a two-story addition. Are they here?
Yes. Great.
Come up to the podium.
Applicant is proposing to construct a two-story addition containing a garage, sitting room, great room, and bedroom. The existing garage will be demolished. Due to the size of the addition, it appears a fire sprinkler will be required throughout the entire home. This will be determined when final plans are submitted for permit review. Staff has no objections to the proposed elevations. The south elevation looks nice with its abundance of windows. Staff would like to see the new window on the east elevation match the existing window on the east elevation. Normally, staff would request windows get added on a blank wall, the north elevation addition, but in this case, staff will defer to the Appearance Commission if they feel it is necessary.
How you doing?
Just one correction for our comments. It was the east, the comment about the window matching for the east is supposed to say west elevation.
Gotcha. Some of us are very familiar with this house. It's in our neighborhood. It looks like you're matching all the existing materials and that type.
Correct.
That's going to look congruous like it was there original.
Correct.
Right. The brick color is going to be the same.
Yeah, it's a common brick. The goal is to.
You're the architect or the?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm the
Sure, no worries.
The goal is to try to reuse as much of the brick from the existing garage as possible.
Mhm.
So, and that would be taking priority on, obviously.
On the exposed
street
face.
facades,
Yeah. Anybody have any issues with
The
this?
west elevation window in question?
So the actual, yeah, if you stop here, Brian.
Fine.
So the question is, that window is, just bear in mind, that window is actually further back since the addition is behind the existing house. So from the street, you actually wouldn't really see this window that much. And frankly, from inside that structure, you're just looking over the roof of the main house. So in our minds, we were keeping the same size as that upper window adjacent to it and just not doing the lower portion below.
I think it's a minor issue.
Yeah, I agree. My only comment would be, you seem to be the only two windows that are not the same.
On the actual east elevation, it's a recall of the window, yeah, so you can see those two there.
Otherwise, I mean, I don't have any problem with it. Everything else looks very symmetrical, very consistent. This is not, but having said that, I think it's fine.
Feel free, Joe.
I love this house.
It's a great
I
house.
think the addition is really a great improvement. I like everything about it, how it's laid out. And
Well, and I will say the homeowners did most of the direction with this too, back and forth, so
Excellent.
they're appreciative of it.
not a deal killer, but one suggestion. It's not a, I think if you go to the south elevation, on this one here, actually, because now it's so long, even though it's set back. If there's a way to even add like a 1-foot projection on the eave over the office, something to just kind of, if you go to the SketchUp or the,
Rendering?
this one here, you can kind of see how long it is. And it just, again, it's a suggestion. I don't want to design
120
anything
feet.
for you, but it's just something about whether it's that one small window, maybe there's an orange element, something that you're bringing in from the existing house up to the upper level, just to kind of break the length up.
Yeah.
Again, not a big deal.
No, I mean, a lot of that was taken into consideration when doing this design, and so part of what maybe is not as abundantly clear on the rendering, there is an overhang, so the garage obviously projects forward because of the
Yeah.
depth. We're continuing that eave line of the garage across the lower floor windows, and so you do get a step back of
There's
that
a
off.
porch.
Yeah, there'll be a shadow down below, yeah.
So there is a bit of a recess in that regard, but I understand your comment.
Yeah, it's not a deal killer by any means. It's really more of just an observation and, something to consider or think about. Maybe there's a way, because it's a lot of the same color on the second floor.
As you know, I mean, the house, it's height challenged.
Yeah.
So the other thing
Oh my
too,
God.
the other thing too about the house is that 8-foot ceilings in a very minimal structure everywhere else.
I get
You're
it.
trying to maintain.
Again, it's not a criticism, it's really more of an observation, partly because I like the proportions of the existing house so much that, it's a good addition, it's a really good complement to everything, but just one observation. So, again, something to consider as you're moving forward.
Anybody else have any other comments?
Are you planning any new landscaping?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the rendering is not something that's showing the landscape now. If you scroll down to the existing image, there's actually, a bit of a planting buffer from the sidewalk to the house because technically their rear, there you go.
You can see it.
Their rear yard is, basically a front yard for everybody else.
Right.
So I do think that there is that notion, especially given the fact that now the garage door will be facing the street.
Especially what?
Since the garage door will now be facing the street as opposed to
Right.
off the side.
Yeah, I used to live on Lincolnwood
Yeah.
Dr, so I drove by.
Mary Jane, you got to
the
get into the microphone.
Oh. Thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to see the house and try and envision where you would be adding on. And I think it'll be nice. You have lots of room in back.
Correct, yeah, I think, Brian, if you go up, just a little bit to the rendering. Yeah, I think, again, we will need a little bit of navigation room in the drive as we're proposing, but I think anything along the curve of that navigation would be able to create landscape there. Again, mainly because they'll want to define their yard, but also to embrace the street that way as well. That'll be the next round, I mean, we don't have that in this iteration.
Anybody else have any
Thank you.
comments? Okay, does somebody feel like making an appropriate motion?
Sure. I move that a certificate of appropriateness be granted for case number 2024-057A at 9303 Lincolnwood Drive, as presented.
Anybody?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, so passed. All right, good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
Thank you. Case number 2024-058, case 2024-058A at 4750 Keeney Street.
The applicant is proposing to construct a new 5-story mixed-use building. The building will contain 20 residential units, first-floor commercial space, and have enclosed parking. The request was heard at the November 21 Plan Commission and will be scheduled for a village board presentation in 2025. Staff has no objection overall to the proposed elevations. The lighter brick and black accents on the building work well together. The glass balcony guardrails are a nice touch and are preferred over standard metal railings. The north elevation is the only area where staff would like to see some feature or banding added to break up the solid brick wall on the right, parentheses, east side of the elevation. The wall that the windows are on is set back and helps break the plane up, but something minimal can be added to break up the solid wall to the right of the windows.
Hello,
Hi there.
are we the architect, are we the developer?
Architect, John Hannum.
Great. Great. Okay. Anybody? Before you have any questions, does anybody have any questions for them? Okay, go ahead, you can go ahead and start, sir.
So in response to,
Sure.
I think Brian's comment about the north elevation, what we're proposing is 3 vertical recesses that are painted black. So the white brick comes and there's a vertical recess which kind of goes with the building. I got a handout here.
Go, you can, this is, okay.
I think it was a good comment, actually. I think this will help it a lot.
How are you achieving that, those bands?
We're just removing the brick and there'll be concrete block behind the window, and then we're going to put metal. on the face.
Metal panel?
Yeah.
Metal panels.
Are the windows black?
Window frames are all black.
That makes sense.
Can you just, can we just go through this one elevation at a time really quick? This is obviously the north, most unattractive elevation. Let's look at the other one. This, because these do not look at all like the rendering. Go ahead, Joe, what were you
Yeah,
going to
just on going back to the north elevation, that is up against the Ignite, I think, or that, not
I don't know,
exactly
I'm trying
Ignite,
to,
but
that was another thing, I was trying to figure
Yeah.
out, are we knocking down the one building, what's this?
the existing building
Can
had
we
been
go to-
knocked down.
Yeah, can we go to the photos?
I just wanted to mention that those 2 blank walls are actually up against the property line, and eventually, hopefully, there'll be a building.
So, that's getting
to
knocked
the-
down.
That building's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone already?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That building has been demolished.
Okay. I don't get down that way.
That's on the
like
south end of it.
Iowa. But,
Go to Iowa.
but this is all gonna be, tell me where this
There.
building all stays here, right? The Ignite building?
Yeah.
Correct. The Ignite, Ignite building is not part of this project.
Okay, can you go out and, across the street here? Go out there and look at the site.
They're right there.
Gotcha. So,
So the north side.
this is gonna be
next to Ignite.
facing north.
Correct.
That's north.
And is it rendered? Do we have a rendering of this elevation?
No, we don't have, all we got is that drawing.
What I was going to mention is, one of the things that's hard to see on a 2-dimensional is those windows in the center are set back like 6 feet, I think. Those guys right there, so there's a little bit more of a,
It's not such a
yeah, it's not a flat
Two-dimensional,
element.
right,
It's actually, there's a,
dimension there.
yeah. And I think the metal bands really are going to help over the top of the Ignite building.
Right. Yeah, look what's there. It looks what was there. No windows.
And what's the color of this brick?
It's a white brick.
It's the same as the rendered stuff?
Correct. In front of you, Mike.
Yeah, but again, I can see why it wasn't rendered, because there's not much to look at.
I have a sample of the brick.
Yeah, no, I'm just, yeah, thank you. I don't know, is this any better? This looks like, what are these 3 bands for?
Well, I actually kind of thought it was a good addition, because if you're southbound on Skokie Boulevard, you will see that blank
Right.
section right there, and it does kind of break it up a little bit. It's not gonna just be solid brick all the way up, and then we wait 20 years for another redevelopment to come in next to it and cover it all up.
Well, not with these windows here. I mean,
Well, the windows are set
How
back
far
6 feet,
set back are they?
like
I think it's 5 feet.
6 feet, and then there's a 2-foot property line.
Easement.
Yeah. So because I was staring at that, yeah, there we go. Kind of wondering how that worked.
4 feet, is that on the plan?
4 feet, and then it's 1
Yeah.
foot to the property line.
Yeah, so there's like a little light well, so if there's another development to the north.
Okay. Comments?
You know I do.
Yeah, dive in.
Well, first of all, Mr. Hanna, right?
Right.
You're kind of taking over the Skokie neighborhood here, the
I didn't mean to.
Skokie corridor. If, with the building that's in, I forgot the name of it, and then the one on the bank building that is pending still, I think, which has a real similar look to this, so I think as they all come in, it's gonna kind of be a nice addition. However, one thing that I noticed is this spot right here, is you're going northbound on Skokie Boulevard.
Stop, Brian.
Yep, there we go.
There.
That entrance right there on the northwest corner. I noticed you've got a red element over the residential entrance on your 3D drawing, kind of in the back. There's a residential right there where their little red spot is, on the street level. And that 4750, that corner is going to be really important, because you kind of come around the curve. Hopefully, the bank building will be developed in your second building or I guess it would be the third if this comes in first. If there's something that can be done, whether it's, I know that's a retail space, so there'll be some signage eventually for the retail.
It's a big retail space.
Yeah, it's 5,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's huge.
Would the signage for that retail go at that corner, the horizontal band where the brick is below the 4750, or how?
We don't have a lot of control over that. Your ordinances do, though.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the goal, is to have some kind of individual lettered signage on that band.
The reason why I bring that up is that if there's ever a place to really kind of jazz up that corner, it would be at that point right there. And rather than depending on a retail signage, maybe it looks like you have a 1-foot setback off of Skokie Boulevard, which is, I think, a county highway or state highway. So you can't really overhang over that 1 foot, but you do have 1 foot. So if there's something that could be done to really kind of create a little bit more interest on that corner.
I think we just have to wait till we get the tenant and work with the tenant on that, to be honest with you. I mean, we've tried to jazz up the corner with the
The
architectural
verticality
elements.
of it.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed is if, and this is just a kind of more of a, I guess, a flourish. The ceilings on the roof deck,
Right.
if those ceilings could be a color or something to just, because everything's white and black. I'm just trying to figure out how to kind of add some, just
Right, and
a
that's gonna be
simple way.
That's gonna be some kind of like a fabric canopy, and it probably will have some color to it.
Yeah, it would be great if
I
there
think
was.
that's a great idea.
If there was color somewhere. When I was looking at this, I was trying to figure out, particularly at that northwest elevation, because you're coming around the curve, all the two buildings that one that's built, one that's proposed, and then this one, you're gonna see that corner, and it's gonna kind of put
Well, this
this.
is fairly in line with the entry and the exit to the SWIP too,
Yeah.
so that's why we wanted to put this.
Oh, and I love it. I think the vertical element is great. I'm just kind of trying to add a little color or
Orange.
something somewhere. I don't have a problem with the building at all. I think it's great. However, what can we do to just kind of give it a little bit more personality?
Well, maybe some different paving right by the entrance would make the entrance stand out.
And which is a really good, thank you, because that was the other thing I was going to mention was the sidewalk where you've got the five, just to be your SketchUp artist or Lumion or whatever they use, the trees don't match the landscape plan, so just as a heads up, because it's easy to do in SketchUp to add trees.
Sure.
But at that corner where those five, like boxwoods or whatever those are, if that's paver or the sidewalk is pulled back and there's a spot for a piece of sculpture. On the bank building, there's I don't know if that sculpture is still there, but there's, this whole corridor would be nice as it builds out to leave places in the right of way for sculpture. So if there's a way to pull this back and just create a larger parkway, paved parkway, as Mary Jane had mentioned, and then that would allow for a piece of sculpture, which would also jazz up that corner.
As long as it's not too tall.
Well, yeah, because the vision triangle, yeah, there's a
Sightlines.
vision triangle and all of that, and that's why the trees are kind of spaced so far away from that corner, the existing trees.
Exactly.
So that is something to keep in mind, but also, I think it's really important as this develops that we leave places for sculpture. It would be in the right of way, so it wouldn't be your maintenance, but it would be a place as you're developing the site.
But we're not going to, Joe, we're not going to dictate a sculpture, so
Right.
you're making suggestions for what you might want to do with your site.
Creating a place
Right.
for a sculpture is what I'm
Gotcha.
doing. Public art is public art.
Right.
And it makes it easier than putting it on the building, because that's what I was thinking at the 4750.
Tom, did you have any comments? Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, what are the 3 rooftop, or maybe there are 4 rooftop projections? What's going on up there? They're not just overruns of a stair tower or anything, are they?
Well, there's decks, there's roof deck up there.
Okay, is it an amenity deck then? or-
Amenity deck, right. So that's gonna provide some shading underneath those.
So is it pergola material? What, is it hard surface? Is it steel? Is it fabric?
The actual roof of it is gonna be some kind of fabric.
Some kind of fabric.
Yeah, some kind of, we don't know yet what it's gonna be. Right now, we show like a gray draped fabric up there,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
And you're committing to the plexiglass balconies, railings?
Not flexible, it's
Or
glass.
whatever, it's-
Laminated
Yeah,
glass.
laminated glass, yeah.
Anybody else have any comments? Anybody want to make a motion on the case?
I can make a swing at it
Sure.
if you're willing to.
Sure.
I may add something like color. If everybody's willing, I don't want to steamroll
Say something again?
about adding color
Suggestion.
somewhere.
Right, as a suggestion, because if you're mandating color, then we need to talk about it and talk
Yeah.
about where. Are you, in your
No, I'm
mind, are you
not.
mandating
No,
color,
I'm
or are you
not.
suggesting
I'm
color?
suggesting color.
Okay, then go ahead.
Unless
Go ahead and make the
unless you want to have the discussion.
Give me an idea, what was your
Well,
suggestion of color gonna be?
I mentioned 2 places. The canvas at the roof deck.
Right, I don't think anybody objected to
And I also
that.
mentioned that there's color added at the residential entrance, and there's nothing at the front corner entrance. Those are the 2 points I discussed color. So if those are appropriate,
Joe, if you put new paving on that corner, that would stand out.
yes, it would.
So, if I'm not mistaken, your color is for the residential entrance to the building? Is that what it's?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And the other one is, you can't color because you don't know what it wants to be.
Right, I think that's
Because
what
it's
the
going to
tenant-
be a future tenant.
Right, and the tenant, I'm sure, is gonna have to come in there with the signage
Mhm.
and stuff like that, so.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know that you can make a lower color conversation. I think you could talk about your suggestion for open space for public art to enhance the corner. But if we're really only talking about the building itself. So if you think having color on that band above the tenant, above the a future retail tenant is a deal breaker, then,
These are not deal breakers.
Okay.
Color is something that
Okay.
can change over time. I mean, it's, in 2 years, they can paint
Okay.
something and they're not coming to us.
okay.
So, I
But go-
mean,
Go ahead and take, you know, hearing what I just said, go ahead and take a stab at your,
okay.
okay.
I move that a certificate of appropriateness be granted for case number 2024-058A at 4750 Keeney Street, as presented with the inclusion of adding elements of color at the roof, whether it's the canvas, something other than gray or white or black, and adding a paver or paved area on the parkway back to the inset of the retail front door.
Vertical bands?
Yeah,
North end.
And then no side any,
on the
Bands.
northwest corner.
And then
Bands.
you're going with the vertical bands concept, right, Joe? His,
Oh, yes, yeah, and including the inclusion of the 3 vertical bands on the north side of the,
Is that last one a condition or recommendation for,
the vertical bands?
Should
Correct.
probably
We're
be
going
there.
with his,
okay.
with their solution to that issue. It's mandated. Anybody
I'll
second?
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, so passed.
it's going to be a
Good
great
luck.
inclusion, great inclusion to the street.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Good luck. Hope you get it off the ground, as they say. I see so many proposals down that road. Oh, my God. Will we get one building?
Are we adjourned?
Any public comment? No public comment. We are adjourned at 7:56.
I saw the RFP go out.